Hello guys, and we are here today with another very awesome video. We are here today with some Shaddolls. Yes, Shaddolls. Everybody thought this deck was dead and gone, and that it wouldn't be playable once Construct got banned, and they are right. They are right. This deck could definitely use Construct because it helps make the engine so much more faster. She's so good at just being able to get rid of stuff. She's just a great out to everything, and the light monster being sent in grave, that puts a lot of variety and variation to the deck, but unfortunately she's banned, so we cannot play her. And again, going with the casual theme here, I'm decided to throw and see what I could put together with Shaddolls. And this deck I think is actually very fun, great deck to take to locals. You'll win even against maybe Burning Abyss, Phantom Knights. If you face those decks, you will have a great matchup against them, because if you make winda, you can really slow them down, especially if you make winda turn 1 if you're going first. Facing Draco Pals. Facing Draco Pals, this deck can pull out a sudden surprising win. Facing Monarchs, this deck will get wrecked. And Cosmos is a kind of fair match. If you can make a field that's really good, Cosmos will have a hard time getting through that and being able to continue playing around. So let me just go into Shaddolls. So if you guys don't know how Shaddolls work, Shaddolls are a fusion based deck, and it's actually a very great deck. I feel like even when it was at full power, it was very balanced, because if you didn't have your fusion cards, if you didn't have something that could trigger their graveyard effects, as all Shaddolls monsters have a graveyard effect, it would clog. It would definitely clog, and that's why we're only playing 2 copies of some cards and 3 copies of the others. But pretty much the engine of the deck is Beast and Falco. Falco, when sent to graveyard, will summon himself, and when flipped effects, and all of these guys have flipped effects, he will summon out a monster, a Shaddoll monster face down, and Shaddoll Beast, when sent to graveyard, will draw a card, and when you flip face up, he's kind of like a miniature Graceful Charity. Draw 2 cards, discard 1, which will then trigger more Shaddoll stuff. And so you also have Dragon, who can pop spell trap cards, which can be great against pendulums, just dropping the dragon and then popping something. And Squamata, he's good and kind of bad. He will pretty much allow you to send another Shaddoll monster to your graveyard. So if he's sent to graveyard, you can send another Shaddoll monster. If it's flip face up, you use a Man-Eater Bug, which isn't the greatest. You kind of want him in the deck, like, just don't waste him. If you're gonna like fusion someone from the deck or be able to like Armageddon Knight or Mathematician, don't just put him in the graveyard, because you want to wait until you have Shaddoll Fusion in the graveyard, then use him, so that way you have Shaddoll Core, because he can send your Shaddoll spell trap cards, including Shaddoll Core, and so that can allow you to do some certain plays and you get cards back from your graveyard, and that's really nice. Now, of course, if you've already seen Shaddoll Core, you opened up with it, you drew into it, and it's in your graveyard, send them. Like, because you don't gain anything by sending Shaddoll Fusion or Shaddoll Fusion to the graveyard, so just send them, do more deck thinning, so that way you can draw into some more key cards such as your Sinister Shadow Games and your Warning. And then for the rest of the Shaddoll monsters, we have Hedgehog, who will, if he's flip face up, or add a Shaddoll spell trap card, which is really great, because then it allows you to fusion summon. And if he's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, he searches for a Shaddoll monster, so probably going to be Falco. And it's really, the engine is not the greatest, it's not the fastest, because you can only use each of their effects once. So you can only use one of their effects and only once, so that turn. So you get 1 turn to get the Falco, and then if your opponent summons out enough monsters, they can attack over your Falco, flip summon Beast, and then they can attack into Beast. But if not, if they can't do it because you have winda, because you have Egress or Shekinah Augur out, then you're getting bend 1 turn doing summoning the Falco, or 1 turn summoning Beast, and then trying to get the graveyard effect off, and like just alternating, and it's really slow. You won't be drawing every single one of your turns, and that can make the deck very slow. But if this deck does well, like against a lot of the meta, they'll pendulum decks. If you summon a pendulum monster from the extra deck, they'll consider it as extra deck monsters, and that's very important, allowing you to fusion them from the deck. And to round out just the Shaddoll spell trap cards, I actually want to go over this. Shaddoll Fusion will allow you to fusion someone from your deck, so if your component controls an extra deck monster, the monster that was summoned from the extra deck, such as the pendulum monsters, like I just said, and Xyz, Synchros, other fusions that weren't summoned from the graveyard. And then, of course, Shaddoll Fusion is a quick play, allowing you to fusion someone during the battle phase, or just, oh, you're going to 1-1 my winda, and I'm just going to make Egress or Shekinah Augur. So definitely very useful. And pretty much the key of your engine, you don't want to run 3 of this card because I feel really hog and just slow down. Now for some support cards, running triple Armageddon Knight and then run Rhoda. He will just send, when he's summoned, send a dark monster from your deck to your graveyard, so it just can help get the plays going. Maybe you'll be able to get off both Beast and Falco and you'll really be set up because, unfortunately, what Construct would do when she was summoned is she'd send another Shaddoll stuff, so you'd be able to send Beast and a light monster and then use Construct effect to send Hedgehog to either search Falco or just send Falco to the graveyard. And so, unfortunately, we don't have anything that allows us to send 2 Shaddoll monsters except for like a Winda, which is still great being able to send. You could still do that with Winda, but you tend to want to also send dragons or send Squamatas to pop and get stuff back. But again, they can help fix that, just get that extra monster in the graveyard, and same with Mathematician, and him being another draw is always good. And then for our fire and earth targets for Shekiniaga and Jet, and for E-Crystal, because you need to have a fire monster, you need to have an earth attribute monster in order to fusion summon them, these guys are great. Shaddoll monsters will get their effects from Global, but if you use this as an effect to send a card from the deck, from your top of your deck to your graveyard, which is really good because if you get lucky, maybe you'll hit Shaddoll Core, get back Shaddoll Fusion, hit Squamata, hit Beast, draw a card, or maybe even hit Falco, and that can help just allow you to float. And just like say, Jet Synchron is really great. And I do want to point out that E-Crystal, or Crystal, I think the E-Crystal is his OCG name, is level 7, so that means you can make a level 8, and this guy banishes himself when he leaves the field if you use his effect to summon him from the graveyard by discarding a card, and of course you can always get him back with Omega because you just made Omega, so it can just really make some really good plays that this deck has, although there was one key play that the deck really wants to make. And then of course Global, of course if you make Shekiniaga, she's a 10-star, and then you can use them to make Starter. Do note that the Shaddoll monsters will all get their effects to add back a Shaddoll spell or trap card from your graveyard if you synchro summon with them. I feel that's very important because it allows for just more combos and just more cycling and very good plays. Unless of course you make Starter, nothing can be activated when he's summoned, so they will be mistiming. And then Allure of Darkness, Allure of Fusion, Allure of Darkness, I'm kind of iffy on this card because I really don't like banishing cards. I tend to banish cards like Squamata unless it's late game, then I might banish Armageddon Knight, but the draw 2 is pretty nice still. Instant Fusion, I don't run any XCs, but nonetheless summoning out Norden or Winda can be very useful. Just to heal Norden can get back your tuners, such as Falco, who's a level 2 tuner by the way, and that can just continue on with stuff. And in order to make Trishula, the basic way is just to have him summon out a level 4, then you have 2 level 4s, and then summon out Jet Synchron on a Global, and boom, Trishula. And of course, Regeki, Rhoda for the Armageddon Knights, 2 Shaddoll Fusion, Soul Charge. This deck may seem costly with the warning and the 2 strikes, and then Soul Charge, and then Instant Fusion, but there's a monster in our extra deck that can fix all that, and it makes it really crazy because you can just establish a field like no other. Triple Upstart Goblin for even more consistency. Definitely want to see consistency. Another Foolish Burial, just the same as Armageddon Knight. Twin Twister, the cards you want to discard would be these 3 if you have them. Otherwise, just discard whatever. I mean, if you could help set up, like if you have Falco and Beast in hand and you don't have any way to summon out a monster, get their effects, you can get a Beast in grave. This Beast won't really do anything if he's just in your hand. So being able to discard cards can set stuff up Falco. And then Sinister Shadow Games. Sinister Shadow Games can be like a complete blowout. Like you can flip this card and it can be amazing. It will send a Shaddoll card from your deck to graveyard. So another Foolish, but then will change any number of face down Shaddoll monsters to face up, so it'll trigger their effects. So it's a great way if they don't attack Falco, if your opponent can't really do stuff, to just flip Falco face up, and any other monsters you have face down. Maybe you summon him using his graveyard effect and then set a dragon because of his flip effect to bounce a card. It'll send a card to your graveyard, so you could send Beast, send Dragon to pop, or send Hedgehog to search, and then by doing this, you can choose Chain Order, put him as Chainlink 1. If you're flipping up another one chain, put them as Chainlink 2, and then whatever your graveyard monster is, whatever card you send to the graveyard will be Chainlink 3. And then they can strike it. They can strike the card in the graveyard, but you won't lose your Falco, he'll be summoned. But more than likely, you get the draw, you get the pop, and then you get to summon out your beasts or your hedgehog, and so that will be really, really good and allow you to continue your plays and just blow out your opponent, because then you drew a card, you get your normal draw, and then you flip beast and you draw 2, discard 1, all really nice. And then Shaddoll Core, he if sent to the graveyard will add a Shaddoll spell trap card in your graveyard to your hand, like I mentioned with Squamata, and he's a trap monster. He's a trap monster level 9, so that can be really good for making Leo, who was amazing. I just had a duel with against Draco Pals and I beat them because of this guy. The guy didn't misplay at the end. He used, what's-his-face, Felgrand's effect on Shaddoll Core, thinking he'd make him a trap card. It didn't. In order to make a trap monster a trap card, you have to negate the effect of it being a trap card. This card has no effect on a monster. In order to make it a trap card again, you have to negate it using a card that negates trap cards, such as Decree or Trap Stun. And it didn't matter even if he didn't use it, because you can't target Leo with Felgrand until main phase 2, so I just would have been able to attack anyways, and he had nothing to stop him. Anyways, and then of course 2 strikes and warning, just to keep them from summoning out big stuff. So the playstyle of this deck is quite fun, because this guy, I want to go over him in the extra deck. A Dark Tunic plus 2 more non-tuner monsters, which is really great, because if you just summon out Norden and then summon out another level 4 and then you have Falco, ta-da! Or Beast or / Winda and then Hedgehog, and boom, you got him. Just really overall great, because he's a Beals. He can be targeted, but he can be destroyed by battle by card effects. He's 4,000, and like the way to get over him is either Ignister, some card that just doesn't target, or 101. The card that doesn't destroy would be actually a better thing. So like BLS if they're playing him. Burning Abyss, if they see this guy, they can just drop. Like, I mean, they might, it might turn into a grind game, because if they can make F0, the monster that doesn't have a rank, they can steal him, which can be very annoying, because then you take 4,000 to the face. But he has the effect, once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls. Your opponent takes half damage for the rest of the turn. Change that monster's attack to 0, and if you do, gain life points equal to its original attack. He's the only monster that can attack, do note that. So he will attack, do 2,000 damage, which is still pretty decent, but you just gained, what, probably 2,000 to maybe 3,000 life, 15,000 maybe, or 1,500, 15,000, wow, 1,500 life, and it's just really good because it says original attack. So if you keep that monster, so if the monster has 0 attack and it stays that permanently, it doesn't matter. If you attack into it, you could attack into some other monster and then keep on gaining life on that same monster. Even though it has 0 current attack, you gain life, you go to its current attack, so you can just keep on gaining that same amount of life, and that can just be amazingly great for this deck. Of course, like I said, there's ways over him, so if you make him, you want to have some way to prevent him from leaving the field, such as Shekini Aga, Igrista, or maybe just Winda, preventing them from special summoning twice. He will negate an inherent special summons, great against pendulums, and then you have to send a Shaddoll monster from your hand to the graveyard, or a Shaddoll spell trap card, a Shaddoll card, and which is great because then it'll trigger your Shaddoll monster effect. Oh, pop back, or oh, draw a card. So no real downside to him. Do note though that he doesn't send it for cost. There are occasions, specifically with Shekini Aga, who has the same effect except it will negate a special monster's effect and then send. If the monster does not get destroyed, because it says negate the activation, and if you do destroy it, then send. So if you negate it, so you activate, and this card resolves, negates the activation, but it's like Beetles or some monster that can't be destroyed, you do not send. You do not even have to have a Shaddoll card. Oh, no, if you have a Shaddoll card in your hand. Okay, then that must have been the bug back when I played this deck and it prompted me to use Shaq when I didn't even have any. But no, if you have a Shaddoll card, you negate the activation and the monster is not destroyed, because it can be or whatever, then you don't have to send. So that's actually pretty interesting. Keeping the card in the hand, which is even, because I mean you get your Shaddoll effects anyways. But Gristlin negates inherent special summon, Chill negates effects of special monsters like a Traptor, Shackle, Nightmare, and Winda says only one special summon per turn for both players. So that's great against Pendulums, because then they Pendulum summon, and then what are they gonna do? They can't XZ, they can't run over Winda, they can't do anything. And then for the rest of the extra deck, you have the Star Eater just to blast your opponent with 3200. Leo 3100. Trisha a little bit more difficult to make. I don't make them all very often in this deck. Omega, I just want a level 8 because he's just so easy to make with Jet Synchron and him, and then Shaddoll Fusion. And of course he'll add back the Jet Synchron like I said, and then just be annoying. Clearing is another card you can make if you have this guy out, because he'll just negate stuff if they try to 101, or if they try to use Ignister's effect. Nope, just negate. And then Moonlit will just bounce stuff, and Black Rose. And then Omadi's is really good, easily made with Hedgehog and Falco, or one of your level 1 tuners and Squamata, or Get Knight, or Mathematician and Falco. And so this deck is definitely very fun. Not the most competitive. It won't win a tournament, but it's fun, and you can just surprisingly win a game, and then just be fun overall. Please unban Construct. Thank you guys for watching.